Welcome to Super Economics, the How. Š-ཌÉŠ Financial Engineering, the mathematics of an ever-increasingly efficient monopoly. By Nick Ray Ball, 2nd of November 2019. My specialization is not commentating on videos, so please forgive my stumbling from time to time. Welcome to the S-World spreadsheet and the tab S-World History 3B, which continues down over 2,000 cells plotting REST-powered growth in Malawi from 2024 to 2080. This journey is called a history. Each new version is a history. And we can see, here is that tab. We can see the date here is 2024, and if we go down to jumps, it goes to 2025. See that? There we go, 26, 27, and that goes all the way down to 2080, at which point there's a lot going on. Back to Word. We're focusing on the tabs S-World History 3B, Jobs and Education, Special Projects, and Cash Flow and Housing. You find them at the bottom. Jobs and Education, Special Projects, Cash Flow and Housing. Back to S-World History 3B. We cover growth, trade, exports, aid, real estate sales, and city sales in Addendum 1. But the quick version is we need only worry about city sales, as if we remove all other revenue we must only revise down by 10%. For now, we start with 2.3 billion in revenue in 2024 and add a 4 billion one-time investment, making 6.3 billion at the beginning of what I call the REST calculator. Okay, if we just go to the left and we go down, this here is the total of all revenue plus savings from the previous year. We'll get to that, but there are no savings from the previous year at this point. So that 2.3 is added to the 4 billion one-time only cash flow investment, making 6.3, and this is our starting point. 6.317 billion dollars available. Right. Next to revenue and savings in cell 021, we have recycle efficiency with the E set to 90%. This indicates that 90% of business and personnel spending can only be spent on other companies and personnel within the network. That is simply recorded as a 90% to the right of the revenue and savings figure, and we can see that equals 5.6 billion. That is 5.6 billion that is left in the network after this money has been spent and can be retrieved in this version on the 1st January the next year. Therefore, there's 5.6 billion in network, in revenue automatically comes back to the network. Next, we see that in 2024, because 90% of spending is facilitated by network credits, where one network credit equals $1, but can only be redeemed from other network companies or personnel, we know that by the end of the year, at least 90% of 2024's revenue and savings will be available to the network the following year. Show path to 2025 savings. Okay, this is the 90% that has been saved because it is spent within the network, and it's sort of circulated and come back pretty much where it started. If we go down this year, cash flow, year's cash flow. What was I doing here? Show path to 2025 savings. Yeah, here we see this figure repeated, that 5.6. That transfers over to the following year. It goes in here, and that then gets added to the total revenue here, that then becomes the start of the next year here. So it's savings from the previous year plus revenue in the current year. Note that tax is also paid in network credits and ingeniously tax symmetry. Go to 2025. In 2025, new revenue and the savings from 2024 equals 8.5 billion. And we repeat the process, increasing E to 91% and adding what I call spin, changing from 1 to 2 spin. Spin is the amount of times the cash flow rotates in a year. Okay, so here we see that figure there. That is the token trade revenue here, the real estate revenue here, the aid, the city, plus the main factor is the savings from the year before that we just rolled over. All adds up to here, comes into this point, 8.56 now, and again we times it by E to make the cash flow. But this year we do all that before 191 days. Then, because this money's still in the network and has basically come back to the companies it started with, we can do this again. This time spending the 7.7 times 91E equals 7.096. This then turns into savings for the next year, but we double up on the cash flow spent in 2025, now 14. Zooming in on this detail in 2025, we see revenue and savings of 8.5 multiplied by E at 91%, equaling 7.7. This money stays in the network and can now be spent again. But this time we don't wait until the end of the year. We set a spend by limit of 191 days to the initial revenue and savings, which means after 191 days the network can spend that 7.7 billion again, and after apply E at 91, creating 7.09 billion in savings and in savings for 2026, and critically increases cash flow in 2025 as we now count both the 7.7 and the 7.0 billion equals 14.8, which we see further down the rest calculator, column P, as years spending cash flow. Okay, so we saw it once, we'll now see it again. This times this equals this is spent by this point, can be respent. This is now respent at this point, times this equals the money that we're rolling over to another year, which falls down here. But because we have both the cash flow here and the cash flow here, we see the total cash flow has increased to 14.8. And this is really it. If there is a problem with this math, which there simply can't be, because I've looked at this for years now, trying to find a problem with it. It's so simple. But yeah, if there's any problem with that math, then we can throw this away and we can throw that name Supereconomics away. If this math is fine, which it surely must be, then we can have a good look at special projects. Okay, let's get back to the script. Where were we? Okay. This doubling of cash flow is the main event. From this point, we can repeat the process each year, increasing the frequency of spending once a year, and each time increasing cash flow, balanced only by E. In 2025, total cash flow is 14.9 billion, and in 2026, when we spin 3 times, we can create cash flow of 26.8 billion. And as we continue down, we go from 2024 to 2080, where Malawi now has a 1% share of global GDP and has built 10 million net zero homes. Okay, as we go down, we see we spin more and more and more, and we're respending that cash flow faster and faster and faster. Of course, you need a very high E, and that is why it's a monopoly. Because why it's a monopoly, that's why it's a monopoly. If this hits 100, it's a perfect monopoly, because all the money is continually circulating around, it never escapes. But at anything below 100, it is a partial monopoly. And to a degree, it's certainly not a monopoly in the normal terms, because look, 1 million different companies. That's not a monopoly. That's a million different companies. You may say that they're all using the same network as a monopoly, but, you know. Also, who cares? Means you can't do much in Europe and UK, but USA and the rest of the world is fine. Right, sorry, let's get back on track. Okay, show cash flow and housing totals to 2080. Okay, let's do that. Cash flow and housing. Now we see here, we recognize that 5.6 from year one. Hang on a sec. I don't think I showed. No, I did not. I did not show 2026. I think I should. Let's just go quickly to 2026. So 2026, we have this 7 billion is transferred over here. It's added to the token exports, the real estate, the city, the aid, which starts and then stops after about 10 years. Okay, that again becomes there, goes to there. We times it by the 92 for an E. E moved to 92. Spin 1, spin 2, spin 3. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Cash flow equals 26. Okay. So there's that 26. Next it goes to 40. Now you see why it's very important if there's some error in this math that someone shows it to me, because all I can see in years of this, and I'm not bad at math, especially when it's on a spreadsheet, and you see it goes up and you see it gets, I mean, of course this has been accelerated by 5% growth per year, and in fact there's another way of doing this which accounts for the future growth, and what it does is it settles it down to the amount of houses built during the whole time, being 10 million. Okay. So yeah, look, these figures, they're just ridiculous. But show me where that math is wrong. Show me an economic way that we're using US dollars, so the usual arguments about countries just goes completely away, because the usual arguments about smaller countries is that their currency will depreciate or appreciate. You know, here we're just using dollars. You know, it's that simple. Yeah, find a way to show me how this is wrong, and I'll be upset, but I'll buy you a cigar. You know, maybe there's something to salvage, or this is completely right, and in that case we should be looking more at this and this, because this is 64 absolutely awesome things that we could do with this money. You know, all of it good, and so much money. Right, where are we? Yep, present this as the burning question. I think I have done that. Okay, next we move to Spreadsheet tab, Jobs and Education, and see that in 2024 there are 2,048 businesses created per the Villa Secrets TBS Scenario 8 Specialization and Scale method, and note on average each business has about 30 personnel. We can see this on the spreadsheet, on the Word doc, but I'm going to go to the spreadsheet because it's simpler. Yeah, okay, there we have that 2,048 companies in 2024. Taking a little time to look at the Jobs and Education tab, we get a bird's eye view of the digital age economy in action, which by the year 2080 has scaled from 20 2,048 to over 1 million companies and provides 33.5 million good jobs and 25 million paid-to-learn positions in Malawi, which is probably more than Malawi will have population for. Okay, so there we go, scaling it up based on these figures here that we've just looked at, and we've just said, you know, where's the mistake? Where's the mistake? Where's the mistake? We've also said we don't think there is one, only because I've lived with this for so long. But you know, I've made mistakes before. Sure, we all have. Okay, so companies have scaled up to 1 million. We started with 65,000, what I call Spartan contracts. That was $21,000 a month, which is an awful lot in Malawi, I can tell you. It's an awful lot in South Africa, let alone Malawi. And yeah, it increases to 33 million. It doesn't mean we have to have 33 million. It's perfectly fine to stop at a certain point where everybody's fine. You know, stop at maybe 2070. That's Danella Meadows and Kate Raworth's best lesson that I learned from Kate Raworth is we got to stop at some point. And if we can stop earlier, great. Paid to learn is basically, this is a salary that is paid to people to learn, or in some cases paid to the parents to put their kids to school. No, okay, it's fine. Let's just go back to the script. Yeah, note that there's 25 million of those educational and paid to learn places, and when we get to where we really want to be going, that's not a token amount anymore. That's a lot of money being paid to people just to learn. Okay, on the left we can see cash flow figure. What's yeah, okay, we've covered this. We don't need this anymore. Just line for it. Okay, to quickly summarize book 3, 64 Reasons Why, I will show the first 16 of the 64 special projects and how much will be spent on them by 2080. Okay, so remember, this is just Malawi. Sienna's forest, this is basically making new forests, whereas Malawi lost all its forests, chopped it all down. We're going to replant them. And you see that's that figure there, and show me where I'm wrong. Someone show me where we're wrong, because the way I'm seeing it, that's a total spend between 2024 and 2080 of $379 billion on creating new forest, just from Malawi. We've got global cooling funds. This is to help climate change as well, 332 billion. Other things, African rain. Now this is exactly the same thing again, but trying to replant the entire Sahara desert, turn it back into, it used to be a forest. It used to be, the Romans came, farming came, and it all turned into dust. So yeah, but that's not just that. This wouldn't be just Malawi, and this contribution would be from Malawi, and other networks would be contributing as many more. So we literally could turn the Sahara back into a rainforest, and that would probably get us 10-15% of where we need to go in terms of climate change. Okay, I'm not gonna dwell over this, because this is a lovely spreadsheet that people can read all by themselves. Okay, lastly, and in reverse order, we have S-World Angel Wing, which is in essence the S-World AI. There is no way of obtaining the E and the other vital factors without this software. This may be why no one has won in this way before. Okay, here we see it. Supereconomics, the what? The S-World Angel Wing Economic Software Framework. I'm not going to read the stuff on the screen there. I'm just going to go through the different modules, the different systems. This is all one piece of software, but it has different specialities. Okay, so TBS, Total Business Systems, S-Web, that's whatever on the web. Behavioral Economic Systems, S-World Film, Total Marketing System, Total Financial Systems, Virtual Social Network, Virtual Business Network, UCS, Universal Colonization Simulator, et al. S-World Aid Efficiency, Š-ཌÉŠ, we've just gone over Š-ཌÉŠ, S-World Net Zero Dynamic Comparative Advantage, S-World Predictive Quantum Software, and the Theory of Every Business, and the following M-Systems, M-System 0, the GGW string, M-System 1, the S-World Network and the TBS, M-System 2, Ripple Effects, M-System 3, the Susskind Boost, M-System 4, the Peak Tent, M-System 5, POP, Financial Gravity, M-System 6, the Theory of Every Business, M-System 7, S-World VSN, Virtual Social Network, 8, S-World Film, 9, Supercoupling, Scale, 10, Š-ཌÉŠ, which we've just looked at, 10, Quest, the Quantum Economic System Core, which is in fact that we use a lot of humans playing games and stuff, and sometimes just seriously just making the initial version of a history for us to then make many alternate versions of the human history. It's complicated. We'll get to that. S-World 13, S-World 12, S-World UCS, S-World 13, S-World UCS Voyages, S-World 15, Angel Pop, S-World 16, S-World Angel Wing. And all of this is parts of the software, and this is why the books that come up to this are 950,000 words long, because a lot of it is describing this software. Okay, I believe we are at the end. Yep. Okay, thanks. Oh no, hang on, what's down here? Okay, now we go to addendum 1 on a different video. Thanks a lot for watching, and please, if someone finds a mistake in those figures, show me where it is. If not, then help me make this money so as we can make the world how it should be. Okay, cool.